In 1993, scientists found a new technology known as CRISPR, which allowed them to treat incurable disease through genetic editing. However, in 2016, the US government banned CRISPR because of its potential for misuse, calling it a weapon for the mass destructions. In the present day, the space station Athena 1 is in absolute ruins, and the interactor who is dead except for the Carrie, who is asking for the control room for help. However, her boss won't open the door to the escape capsule unless Carrie retrieves the mutagen sample first. Afraid but desperate to survive, Carrie goes through the wreck and skews the three samples, but unfortunately she's spotted by the enemy. It turns out that an experiment gone wrong has created monstrous mutated rat that went crazy, and now it's coming after Carrie. The astronaut rushes away, dodging the debris and the flames as fast as she can, and she makes it into the escape capsule right before the rat can catch her. Carrie leaves and watches the stations explode, but unfortunately the rat's rampage has damaged the capsule too, so it is also explode and kills Carrie, while the place is to fall at Earth. Sometimes later at San Diego Wildlife Sanctuary found that primatologist Davis introduces friend male sons Antonio Plus to gorilla enclosures. The newest member, Pavo, is quite aggressive and is bothering the females, so Davis uses sign language to calm him down. At that moment, Davis' best friend George shows up in the presence another male gorilla causes Pavo to get aggressive again. One of the employees gets scared and tries to run away, so Pavo goes after him and pushes him in the floor. But before anything serious happens, George cut and scares the Pavo away. Once it's over, George and Davis exchange many jokes through sign language, and Davis reminds George that Pavo is a family now, he also be protected. When Davis asked for his first bump, George gave him the middle finger first. Afterwards, one of the best employer tries to ask Davis out, but he turns out her down. And Nelson teases him for preferring animals or people. Later in the evening, the three murdered canisters that Carrie retrieved arrive on Earth. One lands in the sanctuary and surprises George with its contents. The second one lands in the forest and is found by wolf, while the third one falls into the river and is swallowed by crocodile. The next day, Davis arrives at the sanctuary to hear the bad news from Nelson. George behaving unusually aggressively and has taken into grizzly enclosures where he has killed a bear. When Davis checks on George, he discovers that Clara has been wounded by the bear too. George is sad and he admits that he made a mistake and apologizes, but the biggest shock is that George has grown much bigger in size. Davis' team investigate the area where they find the canisters. Davis decides to keep it for the research. Later, he decides George's blood work and thinks it does not make any sense because there is a lethal concentration of growth hormone which should have killed him instantly. Nielsen thinks George should be put down, but Davis refuses until they learn more. Meanwhile, siblings Brett and Claire are having an argument. Their company arrives at the time, and Energene is the one of the behind the research of the mutant, and Brett is furious over all the money they have lost when the station exploded. However, Claire is happy with the result because the mutated rate confirmed the Project Rampage experiment is also successful. She also hopes that progress because there is a report from Metro Society revealing the location of the containers which was made by withstand re-entry. So she hires Bulke and his private military services to fetch it. Bulke teams travel to the forest and discover that canister has been damaged and implied, plus all the wolves have been killed, and which they report to Claire. This makes her realize the wolf is mutating, so she orders Burke to capture the beast in the city. Kate watches the news, learns both about Ethan's one tragedy and George's attack on the bear. Because she is former giant scientist, she puts two and two together and rushes to the sanctuary where she tells Davis that canister he found a sample she made. Davis is wary of her, but Kate begins mentioning all the symptoms George going through, proves she is the real deal and the only one can cure George. It turns out the mutation is editing George's DNA by mixing with the DNA of other animals, causes him to grow rapidly and become more aggressive. Suddenly, George becomes enraged and starts hitting the cage until he breaks it and escapes. Then he begins storming through the sanctuary and spreading the chaos among the guests, even destroying the core with his fist. The police immediately arrives and get ready to shoot them, but Davis cuts in and calms George down using sign language. The cops put down their guns, but the sniper helicopter does not get the memo and knocks George down with tranquilizer darts. Meanwhile, in the forest, Borky and his team come across Rolf and the mutated wolf. They manage to shoot him down from the helicopter, then they land to go to the body. However, the body is gone. Instead, they found a huge paw print on the ground, which makes few soldiers scared. Moments later, Rolf Stanley attacks and begins killing all the soldiers one by one. They try to defend themselves with their weapons, and the helicopter uses a machine gun as well. But after the earlier shot, Rolf has developed a very thick skin. The bullets only tickle him. He only grows bigger and bigger so he can leap incredibly high in the air and attack the helicopter, destroying it. On the ground, Burke is the only one survivor, attempts to fight Wolf again, but Ralph easily divorces him. In the evening, Davis and Kate are arrested by the agent Russell of the HBI for doing illegal experiment on George, who is being taken away in the government plane with them. When Davis sees George and Kate, they notice his wound has already healing, and then Russell tries to interrogate them, teasing Davis for quitting the army to take care of the animal and behaving like a complete twat by insulting the duo and ignoring the warnings on how dangerous is it to keep George in the plan. He also reveals that Kate was fired from Energyne 2 years ago after she tried to steal the company's research, for which she spent 13 months in the prison. This causes Kate to admit she can't actually cure George, and now Davis does not trust her anymore. Back in Energyne, Claire learns Kate was arrested, and Brett thinks she's gathering the evidence to bring down the company, so he sees her as a threat. It is also revealed that Claire does have a cure for the mutation, so she makes a plan. She will track all the mutated animals to her building by using the low frequency ladder waves, and the military will be waiting for them to kill them. That way, Claire can collect the DNA and sell it later. She does not worry about Kate because she's sure George will kill everyone in the plan sooner or later. When the killer turns on the device, Ralph immediately stops rampaging through the woods and cars and starts making his way to the city. Lazy mutated Kirkite also senses it and it takes off as well. On the plane, George is supposed to be sedated, but the clear tricks makes him wake up absolutely, and he becomes so aggressive. When Rastus tries to go after him, George quickly knocks him down under his foot. Davis tries to talk to him, but the moment another soldier starts shooting again, enraging the George once more. A bullet ends up hitting a box of explosives that blows up and destroys the plane, causing it to start going down while George is pushed against the wall by Cott. Davis is rushed, but the parachute on himself, Kate and Russell, they manage to jump off the plane, crashes with George inside, and however, when they land on the check side, they don't find the body. There is a trail of chaos, including indicating George survived and is making way to the city too. At a giant clear, furious to hear that Kate survived the plane crash, and when the FBI arrived to take away all the company research and record, attempting to clean her own name. Clears tells the agent that it was Kate behind all the chaos caused by the beast. Back to Davis. He tries to leave Kate behind because he's tired of always seeing the worst of humanity, which he's already got a lot of during the war. When he rescued the George, he was just a baby hiding under the car while he watched people butchering his mother. However, Davis decided to go to the Kate chance. When she explained she created the CRISPR, she wanted to cure her brother's deadly illness, but when the company wanted to weaponize the mutagen, she tried to destroy it and was sent to prison for it. While she was locked up, her brother died, and Russell also likes Rio because they saved his life, and he gets in contact with his men to be rescued. The group is then taken to an Air Force base where Colonel Blake shows them footage of George and Rolf running to the city. Davis points out it's impossible for a gorilla and a wolf travel in a straight line in the same destination, and Kate said they are being called by something, meaning Clear must be waiting for with an antidote. Russell defends their advice, but Blake does not want to listen and involves the civilians and send them away. Outside, Davis tried to negotiate with the soldier to let them go, but since it does not work, he starts fight and quickly knocks both cars down. Then they try to steal a helicopter, and when Russell sees them, he gives them the key and say a phone to stay in contact. Meanwhile, the Blake's team attempt to stop the beast, but their weapons, including the big explosion, are useless. The entire army is wiped out. This makes Blake's decide to evacuate the city before the beast gets there. And the Russell send that information to Davis, who does not think that they can get everyone out in the time. When the George and Love arrive in the city, destruction immediately begins. They bring down the buildings, destroy the vehicles, and hit many helicopters that comes closer. The military meets with a vast army of tanks and weaponry, but nothing works, and the beasts just keep themselves busy wrecking everything in their paths. Soon Lizzie also arrives through the river, joining the other beasts to cause even more damage, using his big mouth to bite the tanks and jets that they get in the way. Desperate for a solution, Blake orders his men to bomb the ready to wipe out the half of the city. Russell tries to change his mind, explaining Davis and Kate on their way to retrieve Antinor, but Blake does not trust them, and after they stole his helicopter and kicks the Russell out. At the moment, Russell gets the result of evidence found in the company and call for a ride so he can do some arrest. While the jet with the bomb takes off, Davis and Kate make it to the Undergiant and steal the three wheels of Antinor. However, Claire sees them on the security cameras and comes to stop them, explaining that Indy to stop aggression but will keep the beast size. Then she takes the vials from Kate and shoots David, who falls into the ground unconscious. Afterward, Claire takes Kate as a hostage and takes her to the roof with her, but before they escape in the helicopter, Josh climbs to the top of the building and breaks the helicopter tail. This also almost kills the Kate, but at that moment, Davis comes back and grabs her, and he explains the bullet did not hit the vital organs, while George proceeds to destroy the antenna, sending the signal that she managed to keep one of the wheels so she can still save George at least. Claire tries to confront the duo again, so Kate uses the chance to put the antenna in the helicopter, but the issue was the Scotty cameras. However, but her escape to the helicopter. Claire tries to confront the duo again, so Kate uses the chance to put Antinode in her bag before punching her as Davis calls for a friend. George comes forward and grabs Kate to eat her before getting Antinode as well. Meanwhile, Brett is trying to escape through the stairs, taking the lost computer and lab rat with him so he can make business again later. Bumps into Russell on the ground floor, and the agent takes the thing from him in the exchange for letting him go instead of arresting. However, when the brat makes it outside, he's suddenly crushed by following it. by falling in debris. Outside, the Lizzie and Rolf join in the destructions of the building, while George starts to calm down, and thanks to the antidote, Davis and Kate take the broken helicopter right before the building crumbles down, causing the helicopter to crash into the ground, but also allowing the duo to survive. Then Davis notices there are a lot of civilians still around and that George is finally feeling better. Lizzie and Rolf are fighting each other, so Davis tells Kate to go and find Russell while he arms himself and join the fight with George. The beasts rule around and exchange vicious hits, but in the end, it's Lizzie who kills Rolf by beating him on the neck. So now it's George versus Lizzie, but seems George is struggling to gain the upper hand. So Davis throws a belt of grenade at Lizzie's back. Unfortunately, Lizzie has grown so powerful the grenade does not much do the damage. Lizzie recovers quickly and throws the George against the building, causing a steel bar to go through the gorilla chest. The Lizzie tries to come closer to finish him, but Davis comes through and uses as many weapons as he can from the helicopter to distract the crocodile. Lizzie falls for it and begins going after Davis, almost killing him. However, George takes the steel bar and jumps into the air, stab Lizzie in the eye. Finally, the ending fight, Kate reaches and the Russell tells him about the antidote who calls Blake to pass the message. Blake notices the death on the screen and decided to abort the airstrike mission, accepting that George is on good side. Unfortunately, George passes out after winning and the Davis has taken the moment of grief with his best friend when he is about to leave. Davis notices some twitching and realizes George is just messing with him. The gorilla offers his middle finger before Davis and he sheer fist bump. Now Davis' next mission is to find the place where they can place George.